Hello, everyone. It's Wednesday. What's up? What's up, John? All right. Thank you for joining us for our What's Up Wednesday virtual training session. I'm Ann Witherspoon. I have Elena A. Day on the screen next to me. And of course, we have the incomparable John Allen on our soundboard this afternoon, making everything fun for us. We, the three of us, are your MISD iTechS. Hello. Okay, so today we have a very special featured guest, Mendy Autry, who is our MISD lead library media specialist. She's also the librarian or LMS at Walnut Grove Middle School. Mendy is going to talk to us today about the updated version of Discovery Education that we have access to this year. She's going to walk us through the interface and show us some things that we can do with this district resource that's going to accelerate and elevate learning. There are also a couple of things that we're going to be able to do now that we haven't been able to do in the past because we have this upgraded version. You'll want to snag a copy of the presentation, as there are some resources that you may want to refer back to and to continue the learning with. So Elena's going to put the link to that slide deck. We also have it on all of the slides in this particular slide deck. But that way you can make a copy of it and make any notes in the speaker notes on any of the slides. Okay, so let's talk about, before we get started and I get Mendy on to showing us about it, we want to make sure that you know how to access Discovery Education. So of course, you're going to, as we go to the next slide, you're going to click on the little house icon that is just to the left of the Omni box up at the top of the Chrome browser, and look for the Discovery Education icon. You may have a couple of little hoops you have to jump through initially to get through, but you'll eventually get there. And once you select that you're a teacher, you won't ever have to do that again. So that's how we get there. So without any further ado, I want to introduce and let Mendy take it over so that she can show us or help us discover what's new. And so at this point, Mendy, you should be able to go on ahead and share your screen and show us around.
All right. So I am Mendy Autry, and I am so excited to be with y'all and to be able to tell you a little bit about Discovery Education. If you're not familiar, Discovery Education is a streaming video service, but it has so many more things. We've had access to Discovery Education for a few years now, but this is the first year that we have had access to this version of Discovery Education, which is a little more robust. There are some additional things that we can do that we haven't been able to do in the past. And so having said that, let me start this. Hang on just a second. All right, can you see my screen okay? Okay, good deal. So Ann talked about when you go into ClassLink and you click on Discovery Education. I just want to say a little bit about logging in. The only way to access Discovery Education is through ClassLink. In years past, we could sign in through Google. That doesn't, that's disabled since it's in ClassLink now. Also, our elementary students, this week is the first week that our elementary students have been able to log in. It just went into ClassLink for our elementary students. I believe it was yesterday, actually. And so if you have tried and or have tried to have your kids access it at elementary and had an issue, that is why. And the reason it was just available is we have been working on some content filtering just to be sure that our littles had access to the things that would be best for them and not to anything that would not be appropriate for them. So anyways, whether you are as a teacher sharing in a Google slide or a Google Doc or Canvas or some other way, before the kids will be able to access, they do have to come to ClassLink and authenticate before any links or any other access methods will work. The first time you log in as a staff member, you're going to select your role, you're going to select your grade levels, and you're going to select the subject matter that you really want to see. The thing with this new version is, used to there was a really static interface that you would come into, and it looked the same for everyone. Now it's kind of a blank canvas, and they build your interface based on what you select. You can always customize it, but that's why this is important. It really does impact how your interface looks. And if you make selections here you don't like, you can always come back and go to your profile and make changes. When you're in and your account's all set up, you can do searching just like you would on any platform or service. There's a basic search feature. So you can search by academic subject, you can search by topic. But one of the things that they have now, which is relatively new, which is a browse by standard, and you can select and you can drill down by your TEKS, by different standards. There are several different standards that are aligned to, but specifically by TEKS and by grade level and by strand, and find videos that relate. And so that's relatively new that they have that mapped. And to me, that's very exciting. Once you do whatever type of search you're going to do, you get to narrow it down a little further. So if I search maybe for the Alamo, then I can say I choose a subject like I want things related specifically to history. I can narrow it down by grade level, group, or maybe I only want videos. They do have interactives. So for instance, those who were familiar with using BrainPop in the past, this isn't exactly BrainPop, but there are some interactive things. There are lessons, there are activities. Another way you can narrow down the search is by language. Maybe you want something that's specifically a primary source. The other thing I say is I usually try to narrow down by copyright. And then if I don't find what I'm looking for in a more recent version, then I'll take some of that off. But there are so many things. I usually want to see the more recent things first. One thing I will say here, in our filtering efforts, it is set so that elementary students can only see pre-K through 2 and grades 3 through 5 content. Teachers can see more, but the elementary students can't. Also, elementary students don't have the search bar. This is an effort to make sure that they are only accessing the content that is developmentally appropriate for them and appropriate for whatever subject. So teachers of elementary students can come in, they can search, they can browse, they can share, as long as it's pre-K through 2 or 3 through 5, and then the kids can access that way. So that is a little different, but we're working on some new filtering controls that they've given us. Once you do a search, there is a little 3-dot menu, and it gives you some basic features. Quick list, this is like, I'm going to bookmark it and I'm going to decide if I want to use it later. I may have like 50 things in my quick list, and then I'll come and sort it out later, and I'll show you what that looks like. Studio is their older version of creating assignments, and it's still there. If you were familiar with using that, you can create things that are like digital posters, and the kids can too. It also has a slide feature built in. It's kind of like a Google slide. it has an assign feature. This lets you assign specific videos to specific students or to specific classes. Now, the really great thing about this, as opposed to just posting a link to the video, is you can come back in and it will tell you who's watched it and how much of it they've watched. Well, I guess it will, I should say, it will show you if they've played the video. You don't know necessarily if they actually watched it, but if they've played the video. And then share also, this is how you would get the link to post into Canvas or to Google or wherever you would want to share the video. The quick list, the way you get back to those from your profile, if you click on your profile below that, you'll get the whole quick list and however many videos that you have saved. So what I like to do is I like to go in into search, like I'll just add things to my quick list, and then I can come back to the quick list and I can use the three dots here, and I can say I want to save it. I can create folders, I can organize the information. So quick list is short term. Saving in the folders will help you kind of curate your list that you want to come back later, maybe a unit that you're going to use again and again. Also, if you're gathering all of your things before you create your learning experience, this would be how you would do that. To assign a video, those three dots on the video, what that looks like is the great thing is all of our students are already rostered into classes in Discovery Education. I have noticed sometimes that a student may not show up on a roster until they've logged into ClassLink. So you may want to, if you're planning to use or create assignments, you may want to take the whole class in, have them log in through ClassLink one day, just to be sure that everybody can get in, and then they'll show up on your rostering. But if you have any issues with rostering or classes not showing up, do let me know and we can work through some of those issues. But all that to say, you find a video you want, you click on the three dots, it'll say what days do you want it to be open to the students. It'll show, so I have student aides that are assigned to me. So these are my classes. I can assign it to my classes. And then after the time period is up, I can go back in and I go into my Discovery Education, into my classrooms, and it will give me a leaderboard of how many have watched it, how much time they've spent on it, if it's late. And you don't see this here because I've cut it out, but it has my list of kids too, and I can drill down by child and see how much time each child spent watching the videos. So if I've given the kids assignment associated with this, and maybe somebody didn't do so well, I can say, well, maybe we didn't do so well because we didn't actually look at it, So it gives you the ability to monitor what it is the kids are doing while they're in Discovery Education. Now, this is the part that's new. So hold on, this is fun stuff. You can now build activities, and they have two big categories: the video quiz, and then also they call it a slideshow. The video quiz is the piece that I think that people are going to be most excited about. So once you select a video, it's not the initial three dots when you're in the preview, but once you open it, you'll see the option to build an activity. And so if I've already opened my video and I come in and I say build an activity, I am going to play the video. And as I'm playing the video and I pause it, this window will pop up and I can add questions. So if I pause it at the 10-second mark, I can add a question at the 10-second mark. I can choose what type. Do I want it to be a short answer? Do I want it to be a class poll? If I choose multiple choice, this will be a gradable activity. And so I can say, where is the Alamo? Give some choices, mark which one is correct. This is where like the 10-second mark would show up. If I leave it at 0, I might do like a pre-knowledge question, what do you know about this? I could do that open-ended, and then I can associate, point values with it. When I have finished going through the whole video and inserting all of the questions I want, what I can do next is I can tell it I want to save it and close it, or I can go ahead and launch it. At the point when I launch it, this gives me the option to assign this to a class the same way I would just to watch the video. But this way they can come in and watch the video, and as they're watching the video, the questions will automatically pop up at the places where I have placed them inside of the video. video. I can choose that I don't want them to skip any questions that they have to answer before they go on, or I can turn that off. Another option is, instead of assign, I can choose launch now, and it gives me a code to give to the kids. Now, the benefit of this is if you are having any trouble with rostering, this allows for guest participation, so the kids wouldn't have to be in your roster. The other thing this is great for would be if you maybe have a club that the kids aren't scheduled to you, or maybe you're leading a professional development activity, it's for adults and they're not scheduled to you, or you're going to do an activity for parents. Anytime you're doing an activity that you want people to go through the video and answer questions, either as a short answer or a poll or multiple choice, whatever it may be. So if you choose this and choose guest participation, they don't have to be actually assigned to you. The other thing you can do, if you don't want to share it as a link, if you don't want them to go specifically into Discovery Education and have to drill and find it, if you've assigned it to them, or if you've done a code, you can come back and you can get the share link for your activity and post it in Canvas. And so all they do is they log into Canvas, or remind me, what's the name for elementary, the younger elementary that they use?
Seesaw.
Seesaw, or put it in Seesaw, put that link in there. That will take them directly to the video, and they'll be able to answer the questions as they go. And then it looks just like the other that I showed you. You can see how much time they've spent in the video, and you'll be able to see their scores as well. So that's totally new, and I'm so excited about it. Discovery Education, because it is so customizable, there are a lot of things that if you don't know to look for them, that you may not find. And so I want to show you some of the things that you could go in and look for, just kind of to give you a heads up of what to look for. Discovery Education has what they call channels. These are curated lists of content, that some of it's video, some of it's images, some of it's, so for instance, there might be a channel on the water cycle. There might be a channel on, World War I. Think of, just any kind of a topic, and they have created these channels or lists that they are constantly updating. And so you can go in and you can search for a channel. You can choose your subject area and choose your grade level and see what channels are out there that are pre-created with curated content that you don't really have to go search for. Another thing is they have books. They have audiobooks and ebooks. They have Reading Rainbow channel. They have a Weston Wood channel. And so I want to show you that when I do a demo here in just a second. But you can go in and you can assign the ebooks and the audiobooks to kids. And you can also add the questions in there. Most of these are for elementary, but there are audiobooks like Hunger Games is in here. There's a lot of classic literature that you'll find in here. So fun things that the kids will enjoy, but great things for teachers to use too. Also, I mentioned the interactives, which are similar to Brain Pop, not exactly the same, but interactive tutorials and activities the kids can do. If you want to see what interactives are available for your grade or subject, again, just search for interactives, select your subject area, select your grade, and it'll narrow it down. Another piece that I love is the field trip piece. You can come in and you can search for field trips and again, narrow it down. They have done these activities where they've gone out on location and interviewed people. I think they've done some like with astronauts at NASA, all kinds of different places. So really content specific, a lot of career field type activities, but it's fun to see what field trips are out there. And then you can share and assign those with your kids too. So don't be fooled if you log in and your interface looks a little blank because you haven't customized it. Go in and there's so much to explore here. So when we say it's a whole new world, it really is. You have to do some exploration, but it is a whole new world. I will always say before you share or assign anything to your kids, this is content that is curated for schools. But the people that curate this content, they aren't us and they aren't you and they don't know your kids. So anytime before you share anything with your kids, watch the video in its entirety, just to be sure it's appropriate for your children, for your subject, and for your grade level. That's my disclaimer there. In this one, they post it. There is a link in here. Discovery Education has a ton of online training and tutorials available if you want to dig in and learn more about any one of these things. But also our Discovery Education rep created an interactive slide training specifically on the new content of how to create assignments. And so that is there as well. Some really great things. You're welcome to contact me. This is my email address. It's just mendy.autry@misd.gs, and it's Mendy with an E. Also, your campus librarian is your campus expert, and they will either know the answer or they will find the answer for you. So don't hesitate to reach out to them. Let's see. I want to come out of this and I want to come back into Discovery Education and show you some of these things. You'll still see my screen, okay? Okay. So mine looks a little bit different. Yours will look different than what the kids see. But again, here's that search. Here is where I can come in and find my quick list or update my profile if I don't like the profile selections I've made. From the My DE bar, this is where I can come in and I can see my classrooms that I've created. I want to show you the browse by standards. So I can come in and I could search by like the essential knowledge and skills, and I can choose a grade level and I can drill down. So I think that is just super cool. The explore option, I know this is a lot really fast, but I know our time is so short. They have given some things that they think you will like. So for instance, here are the virtual field trips. Or again, you can search for it. And it's broken down K5, 6, 8, and 9, 12. And when you come into a field trip, you can kind of see there's a lot of STEM stuff, different cities. So I just think those are fascinating to explore. But there are your field trips. Again, your content. So if you have come in and you have created any folders or saved anything, that's going to be under my content. You can get to it here. This is a piece I haven't played with much, but they actually have an assessment builder built in. And so like if I come in and I search for like the Alamo, it's going to give me, let me create an assessment for the kids. And they've got some pre-populated questions and answers, and you can pick and choose. So, I don't know that it's as robust as some other things that we might use, but it might give you some ideas to come in. And then the educator supports. I'm going to show this. One of the things I love in the educator supports is the instructional strategies. So this is my 29th year in education. And anytime I do professional development, I like to pick and choose my favorite things. And so really what they've done here is they have curated just really good instructional strategies. The SOS, it's Spotlight on Instruction, instructional strategies. And so like if I go to questioning, here are a million different activities that you can use on ways that you might incorporate different questioning strategies with the kids. I love they have strategies for how you can incorporate video, and there's just so many fun things. If you're looking for lesson ideas, whether it has to do with video or audio or just instruction in general, there's some great little activity starters here. All right, I'm going to jump out of that. I'm going to come back to my main platform. So I want to show you what it looks like if I was creating an assignment. So I'm going to just do a basic. So I'm at middle school and, we always talk about the Alamo. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to do a search. And you can see here when I do, it tells me how long each of the video snippets are. It tells me if there's closed captioning available. If I click on a video, one of the things that I think is great is I can even come in and if I needed to, I can get the transcript of this and I can even print this out. So if I have a struggling reader, or if I have a student whose first language isn't English, you can come in and you can download or you can print those transcripts. These are really great, I think, for ELL classes. I think, and they have videos that are in Spanish and in French, and so you could come in and you can print the transcript in the language of your choice. And so they can go back and forth between the two languages. So I think that's a really neat thing. But here's the new thing. I'm watching our time. How are we?
You're good.
Okay. 2 minutes?
Yes,
Okay.
but you can go over a little if you need.
Okay, but here's where that is. Once I've opened it, it's the build an activity, and then I can jump between the video or the quiz, and those steps are built in. So that's just a very brief overview. And in that presentation are all of the things that I've shared. It is fairly intuitive, but again, you've just got to know that it's there. The last thing I want to show you is like coming in here and searching for, I want to search for books. And it's going to give me these channels. So for instance, here's Weston Woods, which is a children's book publisher. And you'll see all of these. So if I want a video or audio, and you can see that some of them are in other languages, I can come in and I can pick one of these. A lot of fairy tales, a lot of classic books that you'll recognize. Your Mama's a Llama, Little Red Riding Hood. But it's the whole book, and then somebody reading the book, caps for sale. So, but again, you kind of have to know to search for those things. So lots of fun things to play with. I hope you will find something maybe you didn't know was there. Find a new way to use it. Give a try. The new lesson builder where you can create lessons and quizzes or polls. And if you have questions, let us know. Are there any questions for the chat?
No, I don't think we have any questions.
Okay.
I'm so excited about having this upgraded version because I just think the Edpuzzle-like tool is going to be very valuable to our teachers.
I think you're right. It will be much less glitchy.
Mm-hmm.
And the content is content that is specifically curated for classes and for schools and easier to integrate. So I hope people do take advantage of that.
I do have a question though, now that I thought about it. Back to those like the audio books or the books. Can a teacher create, I know you said the young children don't have the ability to search.
Right.
Can a teacher create like a bookshelf or something to share with the students?
So any place that the teacher can post links, they can post a link. Another thing that the teacher could do if they wanted to would be they could come in and they could build a board within Discovery Education and share the board and put the links within the board. So they can share the links from within Discovery Education, or they can share the links outside of Discovery Education.
Well, that's exactly what I was wondering about, because they're having to find some alternatives for Epic Books. And so that kind of looked like that might be a good option for teachers.
That is a great one. I will also say our Overdrive, which is our library ebook and audiobook library, digital library, would be a great replacement too.
Well, all I can say, Mindy, is wow. It sounds like Discovery Education has a lot to offer our teachers, and I cannot wait to see this district resource being utilized. So thank you so much for sharing this with us today. And to continue the learning, we do have a few resources. I know you had some resources in your presentation, but we had some resources that we wanted to share also to make sure that our teachers check out in regards to Discovery Education. And before we draw this session to a close, we want to challenge you guys, as always, to take what you've learned today about Discovery Ed and complete an implementation task where you incorporate this district resource within your classroom instruction. And if you choose to take on the challenge, you will earn an extra hour of CPE credit. So if you choose to do that, please fill out the Google form that's linked on this slide and include your implementation task evidence once you've completed it. And also, we're now using Edugents. We used to use this form for PD credit, but now we're doing Edugents, so you'll be hearing more information about that. But to receive credit for participating today, log into Edugents, and under professional development, you will choose the iTechS training, and you'll find our What's Up Wednesday course, and the Discovery Education course will be listed there so that you can enroll. Thanks again for joining us today, everyone, and we hope that you will join us for our next What's Up Wednesday session. It will be on November the 30th, where we are going to be discussing digital tools for engaging reviews. Until then,
Goodbye. I hate to see you go, but have a good time.
goodbye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mindy.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a good rest of your day.
You too.
Too.